Hello and welcome. This is Marcella Clarke, and today I'm delighted to be joined by a very young lady who has conquered the world with her fists, Miss Katie Taylor. Katie, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
And congratulations on winning and retaining the World Championship.
Oh, thanks very much. Thank you.
How much does this win mean to you?
It means everything to me, really. This is what I've been training for all year, and there's a lot of pressure on me going over to competition as well, so I'm just delighted to just defending my title, really, and it's just a big relief, really, at the end of it as well, so I'm delighted.
After the Ken Egan debacle, were you nervous about facing a Chinese person in the final?
I was a bit nervous about it, but my dad just told me in the corner just not think about the judges. It's out of my control and just concentrate on my own fight. But it was bad what happened to Kenny in the final, and it was kind of at the back of my mind as well. But I just kind of got on my boxing and forgot about it really when I stepped into the ring. So.
And just talking about Kenny for a second, from your obviously opinion, your expert opinion, did Kenny win the fight?
Yeah, I thought he won the fight. I watched the fight a few times since then, and he definitely didn't get some of the points he deserved. And it's terrible, really. He should have came back as Olympic champion. Whatever he's remembered now as Olympic silver medal, but it's an amazing achievement. But he really should be Olympic champion in my eyes, anyway.
And speaking of the Olympics, is that where you're hoping to head in 2012 if it becomes an Olympic sport?
Yeah, definitely. That's always been my dream, to box in the Olympics. So we're just kind of waiting on the decision to be made now, and everything's really positive about it. I think all the people from the Olympic Committee I've talked to have all been very positive about the whole thing. So. And
when do you think, what's the timescale that you're going to be given some kind of an indication at this stage? Because obviously you'll have to prepare, and yes, it's a couple of years, but when do you think?
Well, we thought it was going to be made in the next few weeks, just before Christmas, but we've heard now it's not going to be made till October next year, so it's kind of a few months away again. But it's hard all the waiting around. I just want to know now whether it's going to be in or not. But I think it is going to be in. And I'll give it in October. I'll give everyone over 3 years to prepare for the competition. So. There's plenty of time. So
you've just come from the World Championship. What are you going to actually do? Are you going to actually take a break now before you do any serious training? Yeah, definitely. Just taking a few weeks off now till after Christmas, and then get back into serious training in the new year. Then, so I'm just going to relax for the time being, anyway. And Katie, you're a very sporty person. So what do you actually do to relax? Do you stay away from sport completely, or do you take up different hobbies?
Well, I just kind of go to the cinema, or I'll go out with my friends, but I play a bit of football as well to relax. I find that very relaxing as well. It's not really that serious compared to boxing, and it's a good laugh, I think, as well, playing a bit of football. So that's.
Because you have played before for the Irish team, are you going to think about returning to actually playing again?
Yeah, I think I will in the next few weeks try to get back into the international team again, but I don't think there's much football going on at the moment for the women's team in the next few weeks. So I don't really know what's going to happen.
No, it's a bit unfortunate actually with the women's sport. It tends to sort of come and go. But let's just go back to boxing, because women boxing hasn't been very popular, and certainly you're one of the only Irish person I know in terms of being a female boxer. Mm-hmm. Are there many, since you've become a boxer, have there been many women who've since joined?
Yeah, I think there's around 200 girls boxing in Ireland at the moment now. It's really come on in leaps and bounds in the last few years, and I think even for the Olympics in 4 years' time, we're going to have a great little team. Some of the 14 or 15-year-olds coming up are absolutely brilliant. So,
and in terms of, I know your dad is your coach, are there actually female boxing coaches?
Yeah, there are a few female boxing coaches around the country, but I think most of them are male boxing, obviously, because boxing is a male-dominated sport. That's where you're going to get the coaches from. But
yeah, and it's interesting you say that, because I know in terms of when you're training, you actually train with men.
Yeah. And
do you think that really makes a difference in terms of when you get into the ring?
Yeah, definitely. I've been training with the lads since I started boxing, since I was 10 years of age. And I think for every female in any sport, I think they should do all the training with the men, because obviously they are a lot stronger and that bit faster as well. So I think.
And do you think the men actually treat you differently in this particular sport because you are a woman?
Not really. No, I've been training with lads since some times. I like one of the lads now at the stage when I'm going into the gym, and they just treat me like any other boxer, and that's the way I want them to be. I get in sparring all the time with the lads, and don't take it lightly or anything. I mean, just the boxers if I'm one of the lads. So.
Do you make them nervous now that you're a world champion?
I don't think so. I'm just still the same person as I was before. So.
And can you tell me about boxing? Do you think as a person born a boxer?
Well, I think in any athlete you have to have the right genes and have the right DNA, I suppose. So you're kind of born with certain characteristics of it, the athlete that you're going to be. So.
I mean, because your dad, obviously, he was a successful boxer, so obviously it's in the family. And would you actually have become a boxer if your dad hadn't been involved, or is it something that you would have gone and done it in any event?
Yeah, I don't think I would have really. My father was always the one who was encouraging me to go to the boxing club, and my two brothers were boxing at the time as well. So if they hadn't been involved in boxing, I probably wouldn't have took it up. But thank God that they were involved in it. So I'm delighted to be involved in it now. And it's my life at this stage, I just love boxing, love training, love everything to do with it really. So.
And can you tell me, because I mean I'm passionate about sports also, but it's the one sport, boxing, I've never really quite understood. You might be able to help me understand here is, of all sports, why choose one where you get hit and not in your case the way knocked out at you, more your opponents, but give me a little bit of an understanding in that regard.
I don't know really. It's a mad sport really. You're trying to kill each other in the ring, but afterwards you're the best of friends talking to one another after the fight. So it's a mad sport really, but I don't know. It was always so natural for me to get into the ring and box, and I always kind of knew how to throw a punch from the start, and it was, I don't know really what to say about that. But,
and do you ever think of the risks? With every sport there'll always be a risk. With boxing, there's always the possibility you might get a knock that you might not get back from. Is that something you ever really consider?
Not really. Not really in amateur boxing that much, because you're so well protected. It's only over kind of 3 or 4 rounds, and you have the headgear on, and the referee is always there to step in if you're taking too much punishment. So I don't really I'm not really afraid of things like that. I just I know that in amateur boxing I am well protected and well looked after, so it's nothing to worry about, I don't think. But in the professional game, I suppose it's obviously a bit different. And is going professional something you'd ever consider in the future? Maybe in the future, but at the meantime I just want to concentrate on the Olympics and on my amateur career. So I think I still have a lot to accomplish in amateur boxing, so just want to concentrate on that at the moment. And in terms of the competition, where, in terms of other European countries, where do they lie in the scale of female boxers? Is there tough competition out there? Yeah, there's great competition out there. I mean, women's boxing is a global sport now. It's participated in every continent around the world. So, but I think the Russians and all the Eastern Bloc countries are really the main threat at the moment, and the Chinese are getting very good as well. And the competition is great out there, and it's only going to get better, I think, in the next few years. Once the women's boxing is put in the Olympics, they're going to put a lot of money into women's boxing as well, so it's only going to improve really in the next few years, but the competition is brilliant. And tell me, Katie, who would be your boxing hero or heroine? Well, one of my heroes was Deirdre Doherty. She's an Irish female boxer. And she was actually the first female boxer in the country, and she had to go professional, and she was a world professional champion because there was no amateur boxing around at that stage when she was boxing. So she's not even heard of around the country. It's not, because she is the first female boxer we ever had in the country, and she was a big inspiration to me, and she was always very encouraging towards me as well. So she was always one of my heroes. And just tell me, just with regards to your parents, obviously your dad, who's your coach, has been a big influence, but are the fights more difficult for your parents to watch? Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, my father goes white before he fights because he'll be so nervous, and my mother as well. I think the two of them are very nervous before we fight, but I'm probably the most relaxed person before we fight, so those two really are, and really are very nervous, but they always have so much confidence in me as well, so much belief in me, and I couldn't have done without the family I have behind me really. I think they're the proudest parents in Ireland right now. Yeah, I hope so. Just one final question, Katie. What advice would you give to any young girl out there who's thinking of taking up boxing? Yeah, I've always encouraged and think boxing's one of the sports where you get a lot of advantages out of. You're working every part of your body, and it's a great sport to be in. And you shouldn't worry about the risks involved, because in amateur boxing you are very well protected with the headgears and things like that. So it's a great sport to get involved in, exactly.
Katie, that's great advice. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to talk to you. And again,
thanks very much.
Congratulations on a magnificent achievement. But I think there's a lot more to come. And hopefully you'll come back and talk to us at some stage again.
Yeah, definitely. No problem. Thanks a lot.
Katie, thank you. That's Katie Taylor, World Women's Boxing Champion. This is Marcella Clarke.